Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to the Beppis Boys. Season 3 of Overwatch is underway. It's been out for a couple days now. People are starting to get through their placement matches and get into trying to climb up to the ranks they want to be at. And so I thought it would be a good time to talk about 5 important factors to playing Overwatch competitively. This is not just like 5 important factors for Season 3. This is 5 important factors for the game as a whole. No matter what competitive season it is, these are 5 factors that I think will help you play better, play smarter, and climb up to those, to Diamond Master and Grandmaster. These are the tips that will help you do that. So starting off with number 1, this is a rule that I think everyone, including myself, needs to work on. Know the meta, but don't let it rule what hero you pick. Now, for those of you that don't know what the meta is the heroes that are currently strongest. In the current meta for Season 3, Soldier 76 is incredibly strong. D.Va's very strong. Lucio, as always, is in the meta. There are certain characters that are always going to be a little bit stronger than other characters. For example, just last season, McCree was the strongest hit-scan DPS character. This season, in my opinion, and most people's opinion at least, Soldier is a much stronger pick under most circumstances. So that's kind of what the meta is. Which characters are really strong versus which characters are a little bit weaker or maybe not quite as good as they once were, or there are better options. Knowing the meta is important because you'll be able to, if you know the meta, you'll know which characters are the strongest to play. But you shouldn't let the meta rule what character you pick. For example, if you're a really, really good McCree, you should play McCree this season, even though Soldier is technically a more meta pick. If you can't play Soldier as well as McCree, you should be playing McCree, because you'll get more value for your team. The whole idea of playing Overwatch and playing characters isn't necessarily to do the most damage, get the most kills, get the most gold medals, which is a rule that I'll get into in a little bit. The goal of Overwatch is to get the most value out of the character that you're playing, the role that you're playing for your team, so that you can win. If you can get more value for your team out of playing McCree than out of playing Soldier, you should definitely play McCree over Soldier if it'll better help your team. Same thing goes for healers. You might be an insane Mercy, but Mercy's not the most meta character right now. Lucio or Zenyatta or Ana might be considered a little bit more meta. But if you're an amazing Mercy, and you can 5-person res and keep everyone topped off and damage boosted at all the right times, do that. Play Mercy. So know the meta, maybe try to practice the meta heroes more, but don't let the meta absolutely rule what character you pick. Rule number 2, communicate with your teammates. And when I say communicate with your teammates, I don't mean, use the button group up with me and my ultimate is ready or I need healing. I mean, if you're going to play competitive, you need to get a headset with a microphone and get into team chat and communicate that way with your teammates. This is the way that you'll be able to call out where characters are. You can say, there's a Mercy on the right, I think she's about to come into res. If only you sees that, no one else does, you need to call that out so they can quick go in and murder that Mercy with you. Because if you're not in team call, and it's just you that sees her, the odds are she's just going to be able to fly in and res the whole team. This will also allow you to better coordinate with other teammates, when to use ultimates, where, like I said, where enemies are, and just kind of, you'll do so much better in Overwatch if you communicate properly with your teammates over the mic. So definitely, if you're going to play competitive, have a microphone and be communicating with your teammates that way. Alright, rule number 3, know your role on the team. So, if you're playing Lucio, or Ana, or Zenyatta even, your role should not be trying to be the main, DPS on your team. You should be keeping everyone healed. That is your primary goal. I know Ana has a very, can do a very huge amount of damage, and so can Zenyatta, and even Lucio to an extent, but you're not doing your job properly if you're not healing your teammates. Same thing goes if you're a Reinhardt. If you're a Reinhardt and you're spending the whole game swinging your hammer around, fire striking, and charging into the team like an idiot, you're not doing what a Reinhardt is supposed to do, and that is hold up your shield to block incoming damage. It is very important to know what your role should be doing. And I'm not talking about just offense, defense, tank, and support. If you're a McCree, you should not be trying to flank around the map. You should not be trying to flank around and get picks. You should be behind your Reinhardt shield. The Overwatch is such a ever-changing and just constantly flowing game. But if you know what your role is, you'll be so much better off. If you know what you're supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to be doing, you'll be so much better off in the game. Rule number 4, know a variety of heroes for each role. By this I mean, know a variety of heroes that can be DPS, know a variety of tanks, and know a variety of healers. I hate nothing more than getting into a game. All 5 of us have picked, we have a team comp set out, and we say, can you play Lucio, or can you play Reinhardt? Those are normally the 2 roles you need to pick, Lucio or Reinhardt. And the person goes, I don't really play Reinhardt, I can play McCree, or I don't really play Lucio, but I can play Genji. That's not helpful to our team. We've all picked our roles. You need to be able to play the key roles. I'm not saying you need to know how to play every single tank in the game, but you should probably learn how to play Reinhardt at least competently, because he's such an important tank in the game. You should probably know how to play a variety of healers, and Lucio should be one of them, just because Lucio is so prevalent, and you'll probably have to play Lucio at some point in your games. It is very important to not just learn one role from one category and say, okay, I can just, whenever we play a game, I can play Diva for tanks, or Roadhog for tanks, or Zenyatta for healing. No, you need to learn how to play a lot of them, so that way you can feel better in your teams when you go to play competitive. You can be able to fill a lot of those roles better and give your team a better chance to win. Because if you go with a Diva and a Roadhog for your tanks on a lot of maps, you're probably not going to win. If you go Diva Reinhardt or Diva Zarya, you have a much better chance to win depending on the map. Knowing how to play a lot of the very important roles like Reinhardt, Lucio, a hit scan like McCree, Zenyatta or Ana, a lot of these very important tank roles, at least competently, will give you such an advantage in competitive when you have to fill. Because trust me, it will happen. And lastly, the rule that I think the most people fall into is thinking that they're doing a lot for the team because they have gold limbs or gold damage. Basically what I'm trying to say is medals don't mean anything. How many times have you gotten into a game, on defense usually, and you have a Junkrat who's just spamming bombs down the choke, but he's not getting any kills, he's just kind of damaging the Reinhardt shield, and that's about it. They have a Pharah that's just destroying you, and you say, hey, Junkrat, can you switch to Soldier or McCree, take out that Pharah? And he goes, screw you, man, I've got gold damage, I'm doing my job. Well, to all those Junkrat players out there that do that, first of all, screw you. Second of all, no, you're probably not doing your job. Just because you have gold damage does not mean you're doing your job, and just because you have gold limbs especially doesn't mean you're doing your job. Having gold healing doesn't mean you're doing your job. Having a gold medal in something doesn't mean you're doing your job properly at all. Junkrat spamming his bombs downrange onto a Reinhardt shield isn't helping his team that much. Junkrat damaging a lot of tanks but then not finishing up and getting those kills is only feeding support ult charge, or if it's a Roadhog, Roadhog ult charge. If you've got gold damage but got nothing going on, only got 1,000 damage, then clearly all that's going on is that you're getting in on the last hit of some kills, or you get one shot off and then that enemy gets killed later. That's not helpful at all to your team. You're not helping your team that much at all. So many players in this game seem to be under the impression that having a gold medal in something means they're doing their job correctly, and it just doesn't. If you went 5 and 35 in a match, but you had gold limbs at 5, would you say, well, even though I died 35 times, I did my job right? No, you wouldn't say that. You'd say, holy shit, I died 35 times, I'm obviously not doing something right. The same logic applies. Having gold damage, in my opinion, means a little bit more than having gold limbs, but still, just because you have a gold medal doesn't mean you're doing your job right at all. Damage enemies and not getting kills only gives the enemy supports that much more ult charge. It gives Mercy that much more ult charge to res, gives Lucio that much more to sound barrier, to transcendence, to nano boost, to everything. If you are losing, if your team is losing, and there is a clear problem like a Pharah, or a, you know, Mercy, or just the backline in general, even if you had those gold medals, you might need to switch. Don't look at how well you're doing, look at how well your team on the whole is doing. And it is also, I know, very easy to say, oh, well, it's their fault, not mine. Don't have that mentality. Even if it is 100% their fault and not yours, you should still be looking for ways to better improve your team. Even if you are doing amazingly as Junkrat, but there's a Pharah just destroying your team, switch to Soldier anyway to take care of that Pharah, and who knows, maybe your team will pick up the slack for you, and while you kill that Pharah, they'll kill the people that you were killing before. Long story short, guys, just remember, in competitive, this is not a game for personal glory. It's a game for team victory. Like I said before, it doesn't matter how well you personally are doing, it matters how much value you're adding to your team as a character. I went 0-6 as a Reinhardt one time and we crushed because I had a team that stood behind my shield. All I did the whole game was hold my shield up. I didn't get a single kill, but because I held my shield up in the right way at the right time, that blue rectangle allowed our team to go to victory. And they all said, wow, Reinhardt, you were awesome. And I said, guess what? I had no kills. So just remember that. Remember that the next time you think, oh my god, I don't have any medals, I might be doing terribly, or oh my god, I have all the gold medals, I'm doing amazingly. Remember Jack's 0-6 game as Reinhardt where they crushed on King's Row. Alright guys, those are my 5 tips on how to play better, play smarter, and climb higher in Overwatch competitive mode. If you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And if you disagree with any of my points, I would love for you to leave a comment and tell me why, and maybe I'll reply, we can have a discussion about it, because I'm obviously not perfect, I'm not amazing at this game, not a pro, but hopefully this video helped you out. Thank you very much, see you next time.